Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today, I am opening the show with a conversation with a number of Nigerians abroad and also here in the country who have played some important role and will be playing an important role in the Trump intervention to the killings in the country. And so I have two guests from the United States who are joining us by Zoom, and a guest here in the studio. My guest in the studio is a lawyer and is a board member of the Irigwe Development Association in Plateau State, where we've had a number of the victims of some of the killings. I'd like to welcome back to Inside Sources, Mr. Redzi Jugo.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back here again.
All right, excellent. Now, online, I have two important Nigerians whose voices and action clearly are also in play. Starting with Professor Nimi Wariboko from Boston University. He is the G. Mwelda Professor of Social Ethics. Professor Wariboko, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Yes, thank you, Lalo Akande, for having me back.
Thank you. And from Minnesota, we have the president of the Save Nigeria group. This group will be organizing what seems to be a big rally in White House on the 1st of December. I'd like to welcome, for the first time, to Inside Sources, Honorable Stephen Osemwegwe. Honorable Stephen, welcome to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much. Very delighted to be here. Look forward to our deliberations.
Excellent. So let's start with right here in the studio with Mr. Jugo. I'd like to ask you, so what is your take about the intervention of the United States president on what has been a recurring crisis and of genocide and massacre, whatever name is called, in Nigeria? What do you think of his intervention?
Thank you once again. The truth remains that we would have wanted a situation whereby it didn't have to come to that. What I mean by this is that everybody likes a situation whereby whenever you take your cries to someone who is your benefactor or who is your president, like in this case, you want to see a situation whereby he's as proactive as possible. I believe that to a very large extent, all that is going on within the country for the last 10 years has been cataloged and has been curated by the current government, because they have reminded us time and time again that they knew about the problems before they got into the office. And the idea of coming into office to try and make sure that all the problems that have been existing are giving a Midas touch. We see something different going forward. So I for one, didn't want a situation whereby that it became necessary that it had to take a American president to have to, make his voice heard on this matter. But be that as it may, it has now been done. I, for one, come from a community that has been ravaged time and time again. We have seen too many killings.
That's in Plateau State?
Yes, in Plateau State. In Plateau State. I'm from Kwal village of Bassa local government in Plateau State. That is the Irigwe community particularly. And we have seen more deaths than we should have wanted. People grew up it's a very agrarian community. People farm on a regular basis, to contribute a very large cache of crops. Miango pepper was coming from there, and a lot of other things. But where are we now? They have practically disappeared. Almost every rainy season, you're almost sure that if you plant and your plants grow, you are never sure that you're going to harvest them, because you're going to one or two things is going to happen. Either the place is so insecure, the area is so insecure because you're going to have gunmen that are going to show up and shoot you or kidnap you, or people are going to graze into your farm or into your farmland. That has become a fact.
That's what standard.
It has become standard. So where we are today now, I would like to call on all and sundry and all stakeholders, including the government, that where this communication has come from America, it should largely be about, can we collaborate to try and make sure that where we seem to be deficient, because there's obviously a deficiency somewhere.
Right.
You cannot be talking about the same thing year in, year out, and all that you do is to add to the tally of those who have been dead or those who have been injured. I just called from the community just this morning. He said, and I'm asking about the latest tally in the Yoruba community, and he said, please give me till this evening, because I need to add to the number of individuals, because in recent times, of course, there has also been killings. So that has been the situation down the line. I want to see a situation whereby they help, because I see it as some form of an assistance as well that can be rendered by the United States. The question is, have people been killed in their beds, in their room? Have children been massacred? Have women been killed, throat slitted in this country? Yes. Has it been far too much than it needs to be? Yes.
Even one death is bad enough. You know, let's take it on to Honorable Stephen Osemwegwe. We've just had, introductory comments by Mr. Jugo, who represents a lot of the communities that have been victimized, especially in Plateau State. We have a similar situation in Benue and several other parts in the country, northeast, northwest, different dimensions. Now, you, Honorable Stephen, you are the president of Save Nigeria Group, and I understand that you guys also played a very important role. And on the 1st of December next month, there's going to be a rally in front of White House. Tell us what you guys have been doing before Mr. Trump intervened, and what is going to happen after his intervention. Quickly, as your opening comments.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. What has happened with our organization is that we trying to help Nigerians at home, because our focus is on the welfare of Nigerians in America and also at home. And we do send aid and try to help. And most of the people, particularly in the Middle Belt region, which is in Benue, in Plateau, and Southern Kaduna, we've been getting reports over the years documenting. It was until recently we started to find out that this issue is not going to abate. And when I got a call recently, when Bill Maher raised the issue again, someone asked me, you guys have saved Nigeria Group USA. Why are you guys not speaking for the victims of this thing? Is Ted Cruz, is Bill Maher lying? So I spoke with my board of directors and said, hey, maybe we should look for organizations that can assemble to show for those who cannot be in the United States that Ted Cruz, you are not lying. This is true, because we have our own information. So the idea of this rally coming up on December 1st is to show to the United States government and those in America who have never visited Nigeria that, hey, we Nigerians are witnesses of the Christian genocide that is going on. The targeted killing of Christians, particularly in the frontline states of Plateau, Benue, is not random. It's not climate change. Ted Cruz, you are not wrong. Riley Moore, you are not wrong. In fact, thank you, Donald Trump, because these killings did not start under this current government. So it's not even political, in my opinion. It has been age-long. The only problem is black people's sufferings is minimized by the global media. This is the first time we have a president in the White House that is interested in actually saving the lives of Nigerians. And he has said something very clearly, that he gives the Nigerian government opportunity to kill the terrorist that is committing the massacre. And therefore, if I were to advise the Nigerian government, I would say, you should be grateful. For the first time, the United States with their might is willing to help you end what you clearly cannot help. We all know, like my brother just mentioned, about the tally. Do you know that the day that Trump designated Nigeria a CPC state, there were attacks in Nigeria, in this place, in Benue, in Plateau. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago in Benue, there was a large massacre again, even after the CPC. Guess what? What people like Daniel Bwala and the APC government of Nigeria do not know is that the US government have more information than them. They are getting real-time information of the killings, and people like Daniel Bwala is here in America to tell them nothing to see here, nothing is happening. You know what they think when they watch Daniel Bwala and the rest of them lying? They want to put their hair out, because to an American, when you are telling him a lie and he knows the truth, it's an insult. So Daniel Bwala and those parading that there's nothing to see here, when 19,100 churches have been burned since 2009, when more than 100,000 people have been killed, what about the IDPs that are in northern Cameroon, in Niger, scattered around in Nigeria, even in my home state of Edo, with IDP people from Borno? They've been there since 2011. They've not gone home. And somebody is coming to tell the US, who has more information than them, that there's nothing to see here. If there's nothing to see here, why do we have IDP camps? If there's nothing to see here, why do we have these mass graves? And Professor Ezekiel Dakambo's video has gone global, more than 2 billion views. Everybody in the world knows the genocide of Christians is not random, it's not farmer header class, it's Boko Haram and Fulani militia that are killing people. And everybody that we get on the ground tell us that these people are terrorists. They're not farmers. They're not headers, sorry. They don't have cattle with them. They have AK-47 RPGs. So our government has a short window to deal decisively with terrorists, instead of allowing people like Segumi to whitewash terrorists. You know what that means? Is the other day I heard you on your program, not this program, but online, that they are reasonable, that we should negotiate. Well, America does not negotiate with terrorists. A serious country does not negotiate with terrorists. Nigeria should either arrest and try them and jail them, or those ones that refuse to lay down their arm should be eliminated, because they are killing Nigerians. And the whole duty of the government of any country is the security of life and property. So people say there is no Christian genocide, for example. Okay, can you stop the genocide that you call it? If it's not Christian genocide, why should there be genocide in Nigeria at all? It says Muslims are being killed, Christians are being killed. Let nobody be killed. Stop the killing already, or Trump is saying, I will do it for you. He's not invading Nigeria. This lie is a propaganda. He said he was coming after terrorists. Unless you are a terrorist, you should have no problem with such help. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stephen Osemwegwe, who, by the way, is an active Nigerian who is abroad, but very connected to what is going on. He ran as an aspirant for the gubernatorial election in Edo State, I believe, in 2023. So Honorable Stephen does know what is happening in Nigeria. I want to take it to Professor Nimi Wariboko now. Now, a bit of context. Professor Nimi Wariboko, who is a professor of social ethics in Boston University, was one of the board members of the Christian Association of Nigerian Americans, who in 2012 persuaded the US government to designate Boko Haram as a foreign terrorist organization. And so he also has quite a bit of background of how long this has been going on, the attitude of the American government, and of course, we're going to ask him to fill us in with his own take regarding what Mr. Trump has done. And so, Prof, how do you read the intervention of Mr. Donald Trump on this question of the killings in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. So my two other panelists have already given us their take, and frankly, they are very comprehensive. But I want to step back and provide a different perspective. Not that I'm against them. I support the analysis, because I'm looking at the internal debate in Nigeria, especially from the government side. And the key part of their debate is that there is killings, and that it is not directed to Christians alone. But for me, the more they say something like that, it tells us, I want to focus on sovereignty, right? And I've written about this, what I call fractured sovereignty or fatigue sovereignty, right? For a government that says he has a sovereign control over the territory that cannot prevent the death of his citizens, then what is the value of that citizen? To argue that, oh, they also kill Muslims. We're not minimizing that. Oh, those who kill them. One is too many, whether they are Christians or they are Muslims. For a government to make that kind of argument is really surprising, that you are not protecting your own citizens, and the excuse you are giving is that, oh, these killers are killing everybody, there is no discrimination. while the fundamental question is that why should you cede your sovereignty to a terrorist group to be killing whether they're worshippers of Ogu or they're Christians or Muslims, and the defense you are giving is that fine, they could go ahead with the killing as long as it's not directed against any particular group. That in itself means that our sovereignty has been lost. But it also shows that the government is not interested in the economic growth and development of Nigeria, because no serious government will allow this kind of killings and what is happening to continue, because it affects the economic growth and development. Like the first speakers said, people cannot go to the farm and do their work. So if you are really interested in ruling Nigeria, the issue of bringing security under control, insecurity under control, is part of your economic policy. So you don't understand what are they really doing in that country. And the third point is that these killings, whether you interpret it as Islamic or not, or whatever you do, they pose existential threat to the survival of Nigeria. And if you believe in the sovereignty of Nigeria as the president or governor or so, it should be stopped. So this goes to the fundamental issue of, do we have sovereignty over our country? The people we put there, do they care about that? But also, it goes to another point that right from the colonial time to the now, our sovereignty have always been located outside our territory, because it's either controlled by the World Bank and the IMF or by the centers in London, Paris, or DC. So we've ceded by our borrowings massively from these people, by being indebted to them in a certain way. We've ceded that position. So if you look at it from that point of view, Trump intervening is along this trajectory of the fact that our leaders have never taken our sovereignty seriously, so that others have to come in. If we did not mess up in this way, at least there'll be no obvious excuse for Trump to do whatever he do. So the government needs to seriously consider, do we have sovereignty as a nation? And because if you look at the earlier three I've mentioned, security, economic, existential, when you don't care about all those things, then other people are going to step in. Because what they've not realized, that what is happening in Nigeria, if it blows up and affects other countries in the region, it's going to be a global issue. And so people have interest for stepping in to do that. Because we have failed to keep our house in order, others are now coming in to intervene, to advise, or to insult. But we should look into ourselves and ask this critical question. Yes, a time like this, we are calling people to rally around the flag. But we must also ask ourselves a hard question. This issue has been there for some of us for 12, 13 years. We've been talking to government, we've been do this issue. It even took the Nigerian government a long time to declare Boko Haram a terrorist group. And as you said, we went and lobbied Boko Haram. Then, at that time, they were killing people in the northeast more. And it has not become so much of a Christian thing. But we felt as Nigerians, whether you are killing Muslims or you're killing Christians, we care about the life of every Nigerian. And that's why we fought globally for Boko Haram to be recognized as a terrorist group, not just clashes or ethnic differences, but as a terrorist group, right? So, but our government has refused to take that stand to protect the lives of every Nigerian, whether they're Christians or they are more Muslims.
Okay, thank you, Prof. And I'm going to come right back to you, but I want to ask Mr. Rezijugo, who is here, to give me, if you can, what is the reaction of people whose families have been affected? who have lost loved ones, whose communities have been devastated economically, who are the receiving end of whatever name we call what is happening. Do you have any insight? How are they responding, receiving the news and information that the U.S. president says that, look, you guys got to fix this or I'll help you? What's their response?
I want you to understand where these communities are coming from. They are in a place where there is a man who is in the farm right now as we speak that is going to go home tired in the evening, and he is not sure whether he's going to live to see the next day. Talk less of harvesting the crops that he has in the farm. So he has seen his relatives, his uncles, his aunties die time and time again over the last couple of years. Now, all he prays for, because he obviously, since he's still in the village, it means he has nowhere else to go. A lot of his relatives have left the village, left either Kwal or Miango or Jebu Miango, or inside the village somewhere in Riom local government or in Bokos. Some of them have left and gone to the township because they believe that that is the only place they can get help. But some of these individuals, they are still in those villages and do not know what their fate is. I assure you that when you cast your mind into where he is, where the help comes from is of no concern to him. The issue of sovereignty, as we are having the conversations now, is even largely academic. But where he is concerned is if he can get a savior, someone who can save him and his 3-year-old daughter who wants to become a doctor when she grows up. That is all he cares about. If this help is going to come from anywhere, any country, any individual, I assure you that it is the least of his worries. All he wants is to be able to have someone who is going to step in and be able to say to him that you can live for another, or you can live to your ripe old age, and no bullet, no machete is going to cut through you or any of your family members, and you're going to live a wholesome life. That is all that they care. So as I speak to you right now, I am sad because that glory ordinarily should have been taken by this government in all its ramifications. But I say once again, that we should look at this as a method to be able to reach out and have conversations across board. Because the whole concept of diplomacy, whether it is security diplomacy or economic diplomacy across board, and as it has been expounded by the UN Charter and all other charters that are succeeding and are reflective of our international disposition, should largely be about how can we help each other to ensure that the sovereignty that you say that you have by virtue of your independence and all of that is safeguarded. I don't think it is a problem when somebody is trying to break into your compound and to rape and maim people in your compound. If you need help, please say something. And that is where we are. Now we're saying that if your neighbor has noticed that there is a lot of shout and commotion in your compound and has come out and wants to help you, we should not say we have it under control when we do not.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Thank you so much for that important insight. And I like the analogy of a neighbor who sees that there is turmoil, is he supposed to keep quiet? Let me take it to Honorable Stephen as we begin to wrap up, and then Prof, we have the last word. Honorable Stephen Osemwegwe, so I want you to tell me, you are based in the United States, what is the conversation like among the Nigerian community about what is happening? What are Nigerians in the USA, in their different communities, with their diversities, by your own judgment, how are they responding to what is likely going to be some kind of intervention, which I think is some kind of help from the US government to Nigeria in dealing with this condition?
Thank you very much for that question, Olaolu. As you can guess, there is a lot of concern in the Nigerian American community here in America. there's a split in the community. Some are very skeptical because of the U.S. history of making mistakes elsewhere abroad. Some have the lens of not liking the current president, so why is it him? I need help, but why him? So there's that among us. But we, as a Save Nigeria Group USA, we are non-political. So we try to appeal to every organization. Look, our people are dying. If we do nothing, more will die. So we must do something, and we should find ways to appeal to the Nigerian government to take this warning seriously. Trump is not Obama. Trump is not Joe Biden. He means what he says. And here, as a feedback to you, the American Christian community are more concerned than what you think. People are reporting to me that on Sundays in a church that is all white Americans, they are publishing videos of mass graves. Bokos. They're not Bokos. They're not Benway. They are Americans are laser focused. I'm not telling you politicians, ordinary Americans, particularly those in the Midwest and those who believe in religious freedom. They are now seeing videos of beheadings. They are seeing videos of Boko Haram and some terrorists, Fulani militia, having negotiations, peace meeting with government, talking on the microphone with guns. And they're like, are these same people killing people and talking with government? So I fear that what is happening in the split in the Nigerian-American community is because we really would prefer Nigeria solve our problem. We don't have, as a Nigerian, I'm very proud of our country. It is better our government does the job. But now our government has proven that it's either unwilling or unable. We should be grateful that the United States is even going to help us. Then lastly, I want to correct an information. Because of Trump's action to designate Nigeria, we have moved our rally from the White House to the Capitol Hill, because right now there's a bill in Congress by Senator Ted Cruz and other Senate House members on this issue. Trump has already moved ahead of us. So we appreciate him, but we are going to the Capitol Hill on December 1st. So those in America should join us at 11 a.m. on December 1st at the Capitol Hill steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Stephen. And finally, we're going to take the last word from Professor Wariboko. And Prof, just before you respond, I wanted to say something to back up what Honorable Stephen has said about the fact that a lot of Americans have seen all the videos. I remember one of the videos that we put out in 2012 about, Boko Haram slaughtering a lot of Christians in the north. We brought out videos of some victims. The last time I checked, that video has 700,000 views. So clearly, this is not a time when anybody can becloud the judgment of anybody anywhere in the world about what is happening. But I'd like to ask you, as we conclude, Professor Wariboko, what do you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should do? I remember that in 2014, you were part of the campaign for the Buhari election in 2014, and you had worked closely with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You were holding meetings with him. So if you were to see him today, or you wanted to give him an advice, what do you think he should do going forward with the offer of the Americans?
Yes, it should take what President Trump has said very seriously. I mean, this is all the public relations stuff they are doing doesn't cut it. It should take what the president has said, because what is driving the president is not just what Donald Trump wants. He has the big backing of the evangelicals on this issue, and President Trump, whether for his political reason or for humanitarian reason or so, is not going to back down because of the support he has. So he should take it seriously, go to a negotiation and say, what can we do? Let him show that he has muscle to do something. All these arguments they're making, it doesn't cut it. Like, let them begin to show within the next 50 days, 3 weeks, let them show, because since even President Trump made that announcement, killings has still been going on in Nigeria. So the government have not come to grapple with the issue. That is it. Tough to do. Nigeria has the resources as it is now to defeat those terrorists if they really want to. But there is no will to do that. So President Tinubu should show that determination that he's the president of every Nigerian and every territory, and is not ceding the control of any part of the country to some terrorists. He should stand up and act, and people would know, and then even those in America or everywhere in the world will know. This idea that they think that if he attacks, some other country is going to come into the defense. It's not going to happen. By the way, it's not an attack on the country itself, but to take the terrorists out. If they're in Sabisa forest, why can't Nigeria government go and flush them out or whatever they are? So my issue is that take the threat seriously, reorganize your house, engage with the terrorist races to flush them out, and then Nigerians will see that you are making progress. But to just sit down and make it a public relation stuff, meanwhile there's nothing on the ground to show any progress, is the wrong way to go.
Thank you so much, Professor Wariboko, and appreciation to everybody on this panel, Mr. Rezi Jugo, Honorable Stephen Osemwegwe, and of course, Professor Wariboko. Thank you for coming to Inside Sources. We will continue to push these issues. It's interesting that over the weekend, Friday, across to Saturday morning, Pastor E. Adeboye had actually said something similar to what Professor Wariboko has said, that the president should give the terrorists a fight of their life in a matter of days. So I think the dynamics are changing, and we expect the best. Thank you so much, Mr. Jugo, Professor Wariboko, and Honorable Stevie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Inside Sources will be right back.